Cowboys. Happy Monday, everyone. I am Shae Cornette. We're going to hear from Greedy a little bit later on. His name's Dan Orlovsky. Cam Newton is coming. I think he's in a little bit of traffic. He'll be here momentarily. That is Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A., where's the cowboy hat? What's going on?
How you doing? Hey, just relax. Patience. Don't fall for this. I'm here for you, Shae. You'll see. It's all falling in the plan. It's all coming together. Just wait for it. We'll talk about it.
All
sure.
right. On a morning
What's
like
up,
today-
Dio?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling great, looking great. I think I'm good. Let's
Look
rock.
like Grimace. Let's not say great.
Why you always got to do that first thing in the morning?
He always got something to say. You wish you did look this good, my brother. Let's not talk about your suit game. You just getting up there.
This is a good suit today.
Chill
Classic.
out.
Classic
That cheap ass shirt.
navy.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Tie is nice. Suit is nice. But it's all right. Let's go, Shae.
We'll do more of this later on. I think the cowboy hat will come out. I think Cam Newton will be here eventually. I feel like Ernie Johnson, like when Shaq and Barkley come in late, but we'll see when he gets there. It was a comeback for the ages last night, though, in Dallas. My goodness. Down 21 points. The Cowboys tied their largest comeback in franchise history on the back of their quarterback. Dak Prescott threw for over 350 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also ran one in. George Pickens had 146 receiving yards and a touchdown, and Dak has now won 19 straight games at home against a divisional opponent. As for the Eagles, they looked good early, but completely just disappeared offensively late in the game, giving the Cowboys all kinds of life. So now here we are, Monday morning. Are we higher on what we saw from Dallas, or are we down on what we saw from Philadelphia, Dan?
I'm going to be higher on Dallas. I thought this was an unbelievable win at home to go down 21-0, but also just the way it looked. I think, number one, Quinnen Williams and his impact has absolutely helped this defensive line. Him and Odigizua played very, very good. 2, Overshown coming back health-wise, his speed has totally impacted the way that the defense can play. I go to the game and I go to the final drive for Philly. Saquon Barkley, who's one of the best players in football, historic season last year, has the ball out in space versus Overshown, one-on-one, gets shut out. So like the way that the defense can play, like look at this tackle in space. Saquon goes backwards. The next play, they dump the ball off to him. Overshown tackles him in space. This is the play right here. And so just the way that the defense, watch, Saquon's going to have the ball in space. I thought he was going to be a first down. Nope. So just, they didn't have that guy weeks ago, okay? So the way that the defense can play. And then I'd also say this, George Pickens absolutely has put himself in the conversation for the best receiver in football. And I say that respectfully to Jackson Smith-Njigba and Jamar Chase and a lot of the guys that are playing a high level. What he's done this year and what he's done this last 4 or 5 weeks, you can't cover him one-on-one right now. And his growth has been big time. So I was kind of lukewarm on the Cowboys. I got to give them the respect. The way that they played and the way that they competed last night tells me that this is a competitive and meaningful football team this season.
I mean, George Pickens has been so impressive, and I remember we all had question marks heading into this season how this was going to work out. It has been very impressive how he's come along. Go ahead, Stephen A. What do you think? Are you more high on what you saw from Dallas or down on the Eagles?
Well, I'm low on the Eagles, but I'm high on the Cowboys right now. I give credit where credit is due. They're down 21-0 with 11:30 left in the second quarter, and they come back and they handle their business. From that moment forward, to piggyback off of D.O.'s point, George Pickens had more receiving yards than the entire Eagles team. Really. 132 yards receiving. That's what the Eagles gave you after they had a 21-0 lead. And George Pickens was doing his thing when CeeDee Lamb was uncharacteristically dropping a bunch of passes. So give credit where credit is due. The defense neutralizing Saquon Barkley, not being able to do much. The offense stepping up. Dak Prescott being the leader that he is, not just the quarterback that he is. You got to give credit where credit is due when it comes to the Cowboys in terms of, what you saw from them, particularly being down 21-0. I wouldn't be here singing their praises if they had just won the game. It's the fact that they were in a 21-0 hole. That is the kind of game the Dallas Cowboys usually would lose. Usually that would lead to a blowout. Dak Prescott and others would engage in hero ball. Mistakes would mount. The defense wouldn't respond the way that they should. And ultimately, you'd end up losing a playoff game to Green Bay by giving up 48 points. That's what the Dallas Cowboys would have done. This team looks a little bit different. Give credit where credit is due to Jerry Jones. You understand? You don't sign Micah Parsons, okay? What do? The Kenny Clarks of the world, the Quinnen Williams of the world, the Logan Wilsons of the world, the Overshown coming back and what have you. You've got all of that going on. Deron Bland as well. He had missed a couple of games this season. He's been back for a few weeks. You see what you're seeing from the Cowboys, and you see the level of potential. The only thing that I would say is this. People are walking around here talking about it, and Greeny himself, where the hell is he at? He's walking around acting like, oh, my God, here they come. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. They won. What did I tell you, Stephen? Well, I recall somebody named Stephen A. I don't know if y'all know the guy. I don't know. You know, he's on First Take. His name is Stephen A. You know, he wears these fly-ass suits all the time. I don't know if y'all know this, but that Stephen A. also went on national television and predicted that the Cowboys would win this game, because there was something I smelled about the Philadelphia Eagles that just hasn't been quite right. They look ripe to be had, and Dallas caught them. I picked Dallas to win this game. Dallas came back and won this game, but I will say this, okay? Let me tell you something right now. While you're sitting up there and you're bloviating about these Dallas Cowboys, and they deserve their credit. They deserve their credit. But this is week 12 of the NFL season. As I've tried to say on many occasions, Shae Cornette, because you're new to this to some degree, let me tell you something right now. I don't want them to fall off a curb. I prefer the cliff. I prefer the roof. And I'm telling you something right now, as they climb, as they elevate their level of relevancy, the Dallas Cowboy faithful is going to get that much more enthusiastic. And they're going to be led by that man, Mike Greenberg. He's going to be telling them to get up in the morning. And you watch Get Up. And you root for Get Up and Greedy. And then the fall comes. Be patient. Just wait. They will not let you down. Trust me on that. They won't let you.
Cam Newton, are you here? Does he know that there's traffic in New York the week of Thanksgiving? Cam Newton, hello. Good morning. Happy Monday to you.
I came to get my slam dunk back. You know what I'm saying? What's good with you, bro?
What's going on?
There you go.
Magnificent.
Hey, what's going on? Happy Monday. Stephen Anthony has got his hat on. He's ready for the day after a Cowboys comeback for the ages last night. Today, this morning, you wake up higher on the Cowboys and we're down on Philadelphia.
Down on Philadelphia. A team of that caliber, we don't expect those things to happen to them. And the thing that's alarming is the first 3 drives you score. You come out with a bang. We impose our will. The last 8 drives, nothing. And the frustration stems from when is the Philadelphia Eagles are going to put it together, all together. We see a performance like last night in Matthew Stafford, and everything's bumping. From Puka Nacua, you got Devontae Adams. Then you start to say, well, is it the offensive coordinator? Is it the quarterback? Is it the players? That's where my frustration comes in, that is because when you have that much talent and to not have one game, here we are in week 11, to not be able to say, okay, they figured it out. And that's the thing that I hold them to a standard. I'm extremely high on Jalen Hurts, extremely high on Saquon, extremely high on AJ, extremely high on Devontae. But we haven't had one game this year where we've said, okay, the Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni has figured out the offense, and we're too deep into the season and we're asking these same questions.
The first half we saw it.
Yes.
We just didn't see it in the totality of the entire game.
Right.
I think Cam's point, the first 3 drives is accurate. Here's like where the Eagles are, and this is fair to say, like coming off yesterday. One, Saquon's really been a no-show this year, and I'm not trying to take a shot at Saquon. Immense amount of respect for him. Saquon's got the same amount of negative runs this year that Ashton Genty does. The Raiders just fired their offensive coordinator. Their offense has been so bad. Saquon coming off a historic year, the same amount of negative runs. Yesterday, Saquon had 5 yards before contact. 5. This was an offensive line that for years in Philly has been the staple. This is one of the worst offensive lines they've had in years. So to Cam's point, like you're sitting there waiting for them. They can't get the run going. Right. They become one-dimensional. They're getting beat. People are in Saquon's lap or Jalen Hurts' lap. He's trying to make throws. The 3rd and 2 yesterday for me, like summarizes and encapsulates the Eagles' season in general. 3rd and 2, game on the line. We got to get a first down. They run out the most basic high school version concept ever. They line up. They stand still. There's no creativity. There's no bench. There's no one to bunch. There's no one to throw the ball to. Yeah. Sack. How? How are we on 3rd and 2? How is it not Jalen as a runner? Maybe Saquon as a runner. Maybe AJ moving a little bit to create a little help for him. Devon, they just stand there. That's the problem with this team is the scheme is still like last year, but the domination is nothing like this year.
Stephen A.
Well, you know what? That's football parlance to put into because you're more than qualified to do that, and you should because that is your job. My job is to simplify things. People are not doing their jobs. It's very, very simple. What's the offensive coordinator doing? Think about everything that you said, Dio. That means the offensive coordinator ain't doing his job. That means the head coach isn't doing his job. And by the way, this, from a historical perspective, this is not foreign to us. There have been times in the past where we've questioned Sirianni, okay? Okay, you go to the Super Bowl, you go to the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. You have a lights out year and what have you. You see the kind of things that they were doing. But then all of a sudden you change your offensive coordinator, okay? You come back last year, you win the Super Bowl championship because Kellen Moore gets the job in New Orleans. You got to change an offensive coordinator again. After they won in the Super Bowl, obviously both Steichen and Gannon both got head coaching jobs. We understand that, you have people that are qualified to be head coaches that have worked under Sirianni. So obviously in the aftermath of that, you go out and you get somebody, and it's some dude that really that you've upgraded that really has no business being that offensive coordinator. Then we look at the talent. You A.J. Brown, 5 or 6 for 67 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter. The rest of the game, 3 receptions. Where you at? Okay, Devontae Smith, you got 1 catch. Where you at? All right, you're talking about schematically what Sirianni and what Petula are doing offensively. But you know what? Like you said, you had cats standing around too. So now here's the thing that we really, really need to bring home. What do we have to say about A.J. Brown now?
What do you
because remember, coming into this game, I said the Eagles would lose the game, but I also said it would probably be the best thing to happen to them. Because if they're gonna have a shot to win the championship, to repeat as Super Bowl champions, they needed this loss. Because you needed full, undeniable, unequivocal proof. Yo, what the man was saying was absolutely correct. What we've been doing, that was last year. Teams are making adjustments. We got to make the adjustments too. We're not doing it. Listen to what the man was saying. If ever a wide receiver looked prophetic, it is A.J. Brown this morning, because everything he said came home to roost over the last near 3 quarters, really. 2 quarters and 11 minutes and 30 seconds. That's what happened. The Eagles gave up 24 unanswered points, 5 punts, a fumble. How many 3 and outs, Dan? You got to be kidding me. And Saquon Barkley, somebody need to tell him. Somebody need to say it, so I'm going to say it. This brother was an MVP candidate last year, Offensive Player of the Year, 2,005 yards rushing. Joe Shame is not looking that bad right now. I mean, he's looking bad because of the Giants. But in terms of his reservations about Saquon Barkley, long term, it's a different animal right here. That's what we got to start saying. We got to start calling it. We got to bring it home. Yeah. When you sit up there and you have the kind of year that you had last year, and then you're looking the way that you're looking now with his talent, what the hell is going on? Why are you this ineffective? Why is Dan Orlovsky comparing you to Ashton Jeanty, a rookie?
Yeah.
Why is that happening? We know about Chip Kelly. Hell, we knew that Chip Kelly didn't belong in the NFL years ago. The hell you keep giving him a job in the NFL for? Let his ass stay in college. Let him go back to college, okay? He's lucky they took him time for UCLA. Don't get me started with the job he did with the Philadelphia Eagles. He almost took them back a quarter century with the things that he was doing in Philadelphia. He shouldn't have had an NFL job from that alone. But in the end, the Raiders are, that is what it is. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, you got guys that look bad on offense, man. And with the talent that they have, the only thing to point to is coaching and arrogance. Oh, we don't have to change. We'll do what we do. We'll be just fine. And they're not.
So, real quick, Danny O, talking quick ball, issues and how you can make this right for our good friend Shae. Movement. You have to use movement. That's motion. Landmark. Get AJ from just being the typical position that we're used to him seeing. And lastly, scheme. The route concepts, as you just said it on third and 2, were as basic. It's an indie route, bro. Everybody's standing inside. They've run that numerous times this year. Those are 3 things: movement, landmarks, and scheme that Kevin Petullo needs to go back and dig in his bag and fix.
Okay.
That's right.
It's not getting better. Now, what I don't love is that the Dallas Cowboys now a little fire under the Eagles, and they got the Bears on Friday on a short week. But as we said on Friday now, little margin for error do the Cowboys have down the stretch. Really tough schedule. In fact, the Cowboys at this point have just a 10% chance to reach the playoffs. And up next, a pivotal matchup against the Chiefs on Thanksgiving Day. Another short week, obviously, for the Dallas Cowboys. Their chances climbing to 19% with a win, fall to 4% with a loss. Let's now bring in our good friend Greeny. Greeny, come on in here. And Greeny, I got to give it to you. Came on this show, you were beating the drum for the Cowboys. Said, I'll be back Monday. Got to pay it off. Here's Mike Greenberg. Okay, so we get to pay it off. No cowboy hat, huh?
Stephen A., you and I have known each other a very long time. We used to work in the same studio. I would do Mike and Mike. You would do First Take. We would sit there in the same room. You guys would come in like two boxers before the fight. You and Skip all ready to battle it out and all the rest of that. So I've known Stephen A. that long. And this might be the very first time that I've ever won him over in an argument. I came in here last Tuesday. I said, Stephen A., the Cowboys are for real. You were making fun of me. You were saying I was Entertainment Tonight. I'm Kevin Frazier all of a sudden. Well, now, all of a sudden, look at the Dallas Cowboys. What have we said about them all year long? Their offense is great. Their defense is abysmal. Suddenly, it's not so abysmal. They just need to be decent. The Cowboy defense looked decent yesterday. They shut the Eagles down to absolutely nothing after the 21-0 lead. Dak did his magic, and all of a sudden it sets up what will be the most anticipated, and Stephen A., I'm going to predict, most viewed NFL regular season game in the sports history on Thursday against the Kansas City Chiefs. And Shae, I heard you reading the numbers and the percentages, but magical things can happen coming off wins like this. If the Cowboys win on Thursday, Stephen A., and I'm predicting they will, I believe the Cowboys make a second-half run. Schedule gets pretty soft after the Detroit game. I predict they make a second-half run and are at minimum in the playoff chase to the final 2 weeks of the season where they have Washington and the Giants. I think the Cowboys have a real shot. Stephen A., what do you think of that?
Well, first of all, a couple of things. I want to congratulate you because you know what you did influence my thinking to some degree, which is something that rarely, if ever, happens, Greeny. So you deserve all the credit in the world for that. I'm not going to get caught up in your intent because you are a miserable Jets fan. They've given you nothing to cheer about the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So you attaching yourself to Cowboy Nation is totally understandable. Y'all ain't been to the playoffs since 2010. You haven't had a winning record since 2015. I mean, it's been a while. So I understand that it gets to a point where you got to point the finger. You got to look at something else. And if you want to ride the Cowboy train, that's fine. What I would say to you, Greeny, you got 3 days. Because y'all ain't winning on Thanksgiving. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are coming into town. Enjoy the moment. You understand? I think that you could win 2 of these 3 games, but I think this is the one game that you lose. It's on Thanksgiving. Dallas Cowboy fans are feeling themselves. They're sticking out their chest and their stomachs because they're going to be eating a lot of turkey Wednesday night and Thursday, okay? And they're going to roll up in there with expectations. And that is usually when the Cowboys sink, when expectations are there. See, everybody expected them to lose to the Eagles yesterday. And Dak Prescott said it himself. He loves being an underdog. He loves when they're behind. He loves when you're counting them out. He loves that. It's when they have expectations that they don't measure up. And now that they beat the Eagles, they have some expectations. But Patrick Mahomes and the crew are coming into town with a level of urgency, and the Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving Day festivities will reach a relatively down ending. You can book it.
Yeah. One, turkey stinks, so we got to stop eating that. 2,
Oh, my God.
when it comes to make
It's
a
the
run
worst
to the
food
playoffs.
takes of anyone. If this show was not called First Take but was called Food Take, Dan would be the worst guest in the history
when was the
of
last
the
time
show.
you ate turkey?
Absolutely.
But go ahead.
Okay.
Constantly. But go
in
ahead.
a sandwich.
Constantly.
In a sandwich. Cowboys make a run at the playoffs. I think the Cowboys are going to be playing meaningful games. Number 1, someone's going to win the NFC South. Some team's going to. 2, Green Bay's in. 3, the Rams are in. 4, Seattle's in. 5, Philly's in. I think 6, Detroit is in. So you need to tell me that.
One spot.
Yeah. One spot is going to be left for San Fran, maybe another team from the South, Chicago. So I just don't see how they get in.
Okay.
I don't see 2 NFC South teams getting in. It's either one or another. I think with the way that Kansas City Chiefs has been playing this year, the more dangerous they are is when they do this. They run the football. When they have to throw the football constantly, that's when Patrick Mahomes has seen more losses than any other time this year. When you start to factor in the capabilities of a Dallas Cowboy team, when you have a George Pickens, when you have a CeeDee Lamb, and those guys really being at their best, not saying that they have to be at their best versus a Kansas City, but that type of matchup that will be posed is something that is not a good matchup for Kansas City. So that's all I'm saying. And this is the thing. I think it'll be good for business if they do make the playoffs. Yes. So, I mean, why not?
Why not? Look, if the Dallas Cowboys can clean up some of those drops and things from yesterday, they could look like a completely different football team maybe going around. Go ahead, Stephen A.
The Cowboys will lose this Thursday. They will ruin folks' Thanksgiving. And then they will, you know what, they will sit up there, and I believe that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win 4 of their last 5 games. So that's how I view this. They're just losing Thursday.
Do they make the playoffs or not, Stephen Anthony?
Well, that would mean no. He doesn't think they're making the playoffs then, right?
Well, I don't know what their record is going to be at that particular moment in time. What does that be? 10?
If they lose
said they're going to win 4 out of their
7-1?
5, and they're going to lose Thursday. That's going to make them.
Is that 10-7? I mean, is that 9-7?
It would 9-7-1.
9-7-1.
And they would likely.
Yeah, that's not going to be good enough. That's not going to be good enough. They're going to miss the playoffs.
Just a quick aside, I love the tie. Having the tie in the mix,
The tie, yeah.
in the midst of all this, the tie in the mix just makes it all a lot of fun.
It does, and it'll
You
come down.
love ties.
I love ties.
Because of the drama. He likes the drama.
I like football ties and Cam's hats. Those are the two things I like.
I was about to say, you could go regular tie, you could go bow tie, you could go.
We're going to let Greeny go take the morning off. He's had a full day already. Thank you, Greeny, for joining us.
So Greeny's a Cowboy fan
on
now.
your win.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
How about them
Congratulations,
Cowboys?
Stephen A.
I expected the hat and everything, Greeny, so way to keep it modest.
Ah,
here this
well,
The only
morning.
difference is you'll cry in January instead of October. That's all.
Fair enough.
Maybe.